Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. The new Warcraft Rumble PvP season started yesterday, and oh boy, yesterday was quite a hassle. There were bugs, there were delays, there were all sorts of things, but there were also bug fixes and there are balance changes. So overall we got two patches yesterday for Rumble. First, one that missed slightly the season start and caused some issues. That fixed some issues as well, and then later last night we got the balance changes that were talked about earlier this week. So in this video I'm going to take a look at everything that happened yesterday and the current state of the game, so all the things that they have fixed, all the things that they have broken, all the things that they have changed. Let's go take a look. First of all, no Lich King this week. I wrote on the community Discord, the Lich King aka Arthas Menethil aka Cedar of the Frozen Throne will not be coming out this week. We'll have more info about him and Heroic Siege soon. So Heroic Sieges are coming, and Heroic Siege of Storm with the first Heroic one should come next week on Wednesday. So obviously that they missed their target of Arthas the Lich King coming yesterday is pretty bad, because now the content just doesn't line up nearly as nicely. And I had hoped, okay, maybe if Arthas is not coming on Wednesday, then maybe it comes on Thursday, like just a small delay, but no, this appears to confirm that it's delayed until next week. So in worst case scenario, we get the event and we get the Heroic Siege at the same time or something. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, right now it's also unknown if Arthas will be available before Molten Core ends, because I know people have been saving their boost slots from the first wing of Molten Core to give to Arthas, and we still don't know. Maybe Arthas can come out like on Tuesday and you will be able to do Molten Core then, or maybe not. So if you're saving your boost slot, reserve some time so that you can complete Molten Core in case Arthas does not arrive. The next dungeon week is Undead. We're currently on Alliance week. Arthas is Alliance Undead split leader, so dungeons will be available until Saturday next week to get the army slots for Arthas. So that should not be a major issue. Of course, if it comes late next week, then you will have very little time to do the dungeons with Arthas as well. The first patch that dropped yesterday seems to have fixed the duplicate leader and loadout bugs, by the way. So no more getting a handful of leaders. The loadouts, the leaders, that stuff seems to be working well now. So we finally have deck codes for Rumble, and you can import and export your decks, and everything's working fine. Was broken for a couple of days, but now it's fine. However, their patches slightly missed the start of the PvP season, and then you got hit with this. Claim your spoils, you earned nothing. So no PvP rewards. End of season PvP rewards missing again. Unlike last time, this time victory road seems to work, so nothing is locked out at the moment, just missing some rewards. And like last time, Blizzard will send the PvP rewards that you are missing as compensation. So then once you log into Rumble and they have sent it, you get, oh, you were missing these things. And oh, all right, that's cool. Just like last season. So as a vote, you'll get rewards. Steve just has to manually roll them out to everyone, so I can't really give an ETA for those, but he's usually pretty quick with that sort of thing. Over the night there have also been multiple reports from people about getting their gold revoked and confirmed through the virtual wallet on the Battle.net website. Gold revoked. So reason so far unknown. We don't know what this wave is all about. Blizzard has done this before. They have done this for some of the bug abuse exploits, but not for most of them. And they have also done this if you like refund something. You buy something in Rumble and you refund it, and then you get deducted gold. So that's usually what has been going on. But with multiple people getting this out of nowhere with no refunds known, then we don't really know what this is all about yet, but maybe we'll find out eventually once more people keep reporting, and we'll see what common factors there are. On the topic of long-standing bugs, there's been this bug for a long time in Ashenvale in Raene Wolfrunner map, where Kobold cannot cross the bridge. Kobold gets stuck on the terrain when it tries to cross the bridge, so it can never reach the gold vein if it's coming from the upwards direction. But that has been fixed. Kobold no longer gets stuck in terrain. So yay, fixes. And finally, at night in Europe, the balance patch came live, and it's mostly what Blizzard said it would be. But in this video, we're going to take a look at everything that's what actually happened. And first of all, we have new changes to Anub'arak. These were announced when the patch went live, so these were not announced beforehand. But Anub'arak health has been reduced to 1440, it used to be 1600, and Burrow heal, so if you have the regeneration talent on Anub'arak, then healing when it comes out of Burrow is increased to 50% of its health, up from 33%. But there's still no reason whatsoever to use the regeneration talent on Anub'arak because you want explosive shells. Anub'arak is still bad without explosive shells. Also, they fixed the infinite beetle spawn. There was actually a fun thing where all sorts of things could spawn beetles, like let's say you had bats with the guano happens and then the guano spawned beetles, but they added checks to make sure that only minis can add beetles. So beetle spawn capped at 12 again, Anub'arak no longer just invincible. Then we have changes to Ragnaros. These are as were announced. Blast Wave now also deals 75 damage in addition to the burn that it affects. And then Blast Wave now damages buildings too. It didn't used to do anything to buildings. And then another change that also affects mainly Ragnaros is that Gryphon Rider can only give plus 10 levels from the air potions. Previously that was uncapped, and that also means that Ragnaros can only get up to plus 10 levels from Gryphon Rider allies. The Emperor Thaurissan patch note was really ambiguous, but now we know exactly how it works. So when you have Incinerate talent, which is the permanent burn, then Emperor Thaurissan will try to switch targets as often as possible, and it will always switch target to whichever mini in its range has the highest percentage of health remaining. So then it tries to apply that permanent burn to as many minis as possible. And then there was also a change to more as with talent, the healing increased to 1.5% and range to 12, but that healing is still bad, so it doesn't really matter. Cairne got a small damage increase to 176 from 160. Sneed's landgrab talent has been improved. It now increases Sneed's levels by 2 per application, up from 1. But there are reported several bugs with this, so levels do not always seem to be granted. Still trying to figure out what exactly are the conditions when it works and when it doesn't. Jaina's Flurry talent now deals 50 area of effect damage to secondary targets. The main target damage is unchanged. Maiev got quite a few buffs. Health increased to 744, up from 620. Melee damage increased to 192, up from 160. And the area of effect damage from Stealth the Fan of Knives increased to 360, up from 300. 2 of Hogger's talents got buffed, so Fatal Frenzy now buffs your minis map-wide with Bloodlust and +1 level. It used to be only Bloodlust and only nearby minis. A single mini can gain up to +3 levels from Fatal Frenzy, so if you have a slow mini that stays alive long enough for 3 Hoggers to die, or 4 Hoggers to die, then it would only gain +3 levels. Then there's the Hamhog talent, which now adds +15% health to Hogger per application. It used to be +10%. Still capped at 3 applications, so now +45% instead of +30%. For Cenarius, the empty health from leader ability has been increased to 30%, was 20%. The way this is technically implemented is that minis first gain more health, and then they deal damage to themselves, so that extra health is empty health. So technically, Scenario minis now start with 130% of their max health, and they are at 97.5% of their original health when they spawn, so slightly lower health than they would be without just having Scenarios around. That used to be 120% and 96%, so it's a little bit better. An interesting note, by the way, footmen do the same. They start at 130% of max health, but footmen only start at 91% of their original health. So if you have footmen with fortification talent and you don't have a healer for them, they are worse than footmen without a talent at all. For Rend, there was a health increase to 1380, up from 1200. And Onu got some major buffs. Health increased to 4660 from 4050, so Onu now has more health than some of the campaign bosses. Melee attack also changed to 140-degree cleave instead of single target, so now Onu can just kill squads of melee attackers or something. Barkskin talent also now makes Onu armored, so Barkskin has been totally useless talent. I don't even think I have that, so but now Onu is getting armored from that, so 4660 armored health can actually be pretty scary. Then there's the Petrify talent, and the Petrified Onu, the statue that spawns when Onu dies. So you have the talent and you get the statue, then when that statue spawns, it also spawns with 3 treants. Orgim Doomhammer was nerfed, health was reduced to 1000 from 1200, and the first blood damage increase was reduced to +75% from +100%. Gromash got a health increase buffed, health to 1496, up from 1360. Charlga got some major buffs, but there is a major bug that makes Charlga really bad at the moment. So Charlga's health was increased to 416, up from 320, and Charlga can now target flying units. It was meant to work so that Charlga would be able to target flying units, but Charlga would not be able to root flying units. But they messed that up, and Charlga now tries to cast on flying units, but it does nothing, because they have put the check in the wrong place. So now it not only does not root them, but it also does not deal any damage to them, but it spends time trying to cast on them. This has already been fixed internally at Blizzard, so we're just waiting for a patch. This was pretty small configuration error, but does make Charlga really bad until this is fixed. Also, Charlga's Nature Grasp talent no longer reduces Charlga's damage. Hounds got some buffs, but they still don't look too strong. Damage was increased to 220, up from 170, and health increased to 1600, up from 1420. And their Fiery Rebirth talent now also applies burn on enemies within a radius of 6 from the Hound when it's resurrected, in addition to 170 elemental damage, which is unchanged. So 107 elemental damage plus 240 from burn. Their damage from Fiery Rebirth was more than doubled. As I already mentioned with Ragnaros, Gryphon Rider airdrop talent, potion level gain has now been limited to plus 10 levels. It used to be unlimited. Molten Giant got some pretty sweet buffs. Damage has been increased to 230, was 180, and if you have the Bolster talent on Molten Giant, it now gives you 1 gold when Molten Giant destroys a tower. And the Bolster healing has been changed a little bit. It's now 25% of Molten Giant's maximum health, which with current stats is 875, whereas it used to be a flat 850 healing, so it heals a little bit more now. And also Bolster healing now works more reliably. They increase the time window that it has to apply the heal, and that seems to have fixed issues with it. The Deep Breath nerf is also live. Damage was reduced to 160 from 400, but now it also applies burn, which is 240 damage over 8 seconds. So it still deals 400 damage, but it only deals the full damage over 8 seconds. So most of the damage is now delayed, which also means that if you have some healing going on, then Deep Breath just can't kill many of the minis it could kill before. Lake Farmer's Splashing Pumpkins talent is pretty exciting. It's got some major buffs, and it also got one stealth nerf. So attack speed has now been improved to 2.3 seconds from 3 seconds. Every other talent or talentless Plague Farmer already had attack speed of 2.3 seconds. So Splashing Pumpkins made Plague Farmer attack slower, but it no longer does. Now it attacks the same speed always. The splash area of Splashing Pumpkins was increased to a radius of 6. It was 3. Without the talent it is 3, and this was supposed to double the radius, and now it does that. However, they have also reduced the poison stacks applied by Splashing Pumpkins Plague Farmer to 3 per hit, and it used to be 4, and without the talent it is still 4. However, the attack speed improvement does help a little bit with that. Raptors got a major buff. Damage has been increased to 120 from 90, and their motivation talent now grants them Bloodlust for 10 seconds when they come within a range of 7 of a chest or a gold vein. It used to be that they had Bloodlust while they were staying within a range of 7 of gold vein or a chest, and now it's 10-second Bloodlust. So it's a little bit different. Technically you could have more than 10 seconds if you were fighting over a gold vein, but usually you just ran past it and then you just lost the Bloodlust really rapidly. Warsong Grunts also got some major buffs, especially for their talents. Their damage was increased to 95 from 80, okay, a small increase, but then Command talent now affects beast allies map-wide, so you play Grunts and beasts everywhere on the map start to deal more damage. And the Guard Duty talent now makes the Grunts armored and reduces their cost to 4 gold. So Guard Duty Grunts are actually pretty strong right now. Witch Doctor was hit with a nerf, attack range was reduced to 7 from 8, and the explosion radius was reduced to 5 from 6. And Frostwolf Shaman was nerfed for PvP. The Earthwall Totem talent no longer heals your main base in PvP. So those were all the balance changes, and then finally, activated by the way with the patch, not with the new season, is that Priestess has now been added to the grid, so right now it is possible to find Priestess from the grid. So that was Rumbles yesterday. Lots of ups and downs and roller coasters and 2 patches and things delayed and things fixed and things bugged, and yeah, it's embracing chaos. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.